Hey y'all, it's Wild Riley and I'm back again. Just can't forget about you guys. And I wanted to share with you some mead that's in the process of fermentation. So I have these glass carboys, 2 of them, and they're bubbling away. And they've been bubbling away for a while now, probably a couple weeks. I transferred it from the primary fermenter into these double glass 6.5 gallon, I believe, 6.5 gallon carboys, and put fresh water in the airlocks, got everything all cleaned up. And then a little trick I'm using though is I'm kind of strapping on these little, I guess they're reptile warmers, but I use them for sprouting seeds in the spring. I put that underneath the sprouting trays, and then usually I cover the top with some kind of plastic, usually like a Tupperware type lid or a clear plastic tote lid. Anyway, it's a whole nother thing. But this is how you make yourself some good tasting homebrew. You know, to share around with friends and family, and you know, just to have a good resource. So, good reason for keeping bees is you could have a good, clean sugar source. And that's actually why I got started beekeeping, was I wanted to make my own wine. And I usually make elderberry wine. But in this case, I'm making just straight mead, and it's a pretty good tasting batch. So, that's 13 gallons. And then the 14th one I have set aside for kind of sampling. So not a very big startup cost. And that's a little tip. You know, in my area of California, it's been like 20 degrees below average, it seems like. It's just foggy all the time. And it's cool. And so instead of just leaving these in the living room and letting the ambient temperature of the summer regulate the temperature and just letting it ferment at around 70 to 80 degrees inside, I'm strapping these electric heaters on. So if you live in a cooler climate, you could do something like that, and it'll help keep your temperature up. So it's not super overly hot, but it's enough to really cause that to happen. So, honey wine. It's alchemy. You're converting something from one type to another. You're kind of putting the ingredients together, the yeast, the sugars, the honeys, the waters, the science equipment, the temperature, the airlock so the contaminants can't get in. You put all the right things in place, and then you just kind of dust your hands off and stand back and let it rock and roll. And before long, you have something that's a different form, but good as gold, right? You can enjoy yourself a nice sparkling mead in the fall once it's all done, after all the bees are done, after all the honey collection's over. Maybe one day I'll get into about my philosophy on honey harvest. But I don't really think it's something that you harvest unless they can spare what you're taking. If you're feeding them tons of sugar syrup, then there's something wrong. Anyway, I'd like to hear about what you guys are up to. Are you fermenting? Are you doing any kind of alchemy as far as converting something from one form to another, whether it's baking bread, growing a garden, fermenting, pickling, all that kind of stuff? Any kind of food preservation? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, have a good rest of your guys' day, and we'll talk to you later. Wild Riley out.